Welcome guys to this tutorial series where we are doing this animated human with the simulated clothes.
In this video we're gonna simulate our clothes and export it over to Blender together with the textures. That will allow us to touch up some materials, add some details and then do some really cool renders. Before we simulate the clothes, let's prepare the textures for export. So instead of the 2D pattern window, we can switch to the UV editor window. And what we're gonna do here is to arrange our garments into these UV tiles, to allow us to separately change the textures of each garment later on. It is possible to arrange all of the garments into one UV tile. And in the export, this will result in one image texture corresponding to all of the garments. For this tutorial, I will arrange the garments in the UV tiles the same way as I did with the fabrics. This will allow us to have control of the texture for each fabric. We also have a few more materials that are not present in the fabric list. And those are the buttons, the buttonholes, the zipper, and so on. So what I will do is to add one UV tile for the zipper rail here that's actually going to have a texture, and then another tile for all of the other small details. Let's expand the UV editor and start arranging the garments. You can click any piece and move it around, but be careful that you don't scale any piece before we have categorized them. That can mess up the textures. We can use the fabric list as the guide for our structure, so we can put the jacket pieces in tile number 1, the collar pieces in tile number 2, and so on. It is very important that you arrange your garments from tile 1-1 and horizontally from there. The reason for that is that we're going to export something called UDIMs. UDIMs is basically a way around having huge image textures. So instead of having one image texture that corresponds to all of the clothes, we will split the textures into multiple smaller ones, and then those will be assigned to different parts of the clothes mesh. And when we do the export, the UDIMs will be named according to their placement in the UV tiles. So if we put something before number 1, that will mess up the number order and Blender cannot find the UDIMs. So let's find all of the pieces for the jacket and place in UV tile 1-1. And later on they are not allowed to overlap each other, but right now that's fine. And the next part is the collar. And then we have the jeans. And then the tank top, and then the collar top. And then as I mentioned, we also have some other pieces, which is this zipper rail that has ended up in the center here. And also the buttons and all the small pieces of the zipper and so on. So let's take the zipper rails and we put them in 5-1. And then we take the rest of these pieces and we put them in 6-1. Now when everything is categorized, you can actually scale the items. So just make sure that they are inside of each square. And now there is a very convenient way to arrange all the items within each square without having any overlap. So select all the items within the first UV tile and then click this button, UV packing. Now make sure that your selected tile is horizontal 1, vertical 1, and then click apply. And we can close it. And now all of the items are arranged without overlapping each other within this tile with a tiny bit of padding around everything. And then this step can be repeated to each UV tile. So select all the items, click UV packing, and then in this case it's horizontal 2 and vertical 1. Apply and close. Now we have prepared our UV tiles and I'm gonna show you some ways to improve our export. Let's zoom in on the jacket in the UV editor and also in the 3D view here. And what we can notice here is that the zipper is a texture while the top stitching is actual geometry. So if we do an export right now, the top stitching will be a part of the big mesh and not exported as a texture. And this is of course good for realism, but it will result in a very large export file and also an animation that will probably not run smooth in your viewport in Blender. So what I suggest is to replace the mesh with a texture, and that is done by going to Top Stitch menu, and then you click the top stitch, and you see the type here is set to OBJ. This can be switched to texture. So as you can see, the mesh is now replaced by a texture here in the 3D view, but also you can see in the UV editor that the seams are integrated in the image textures. So now when we have converted the top stitching to textures, it may look a bit subtle. So what we can do is to increase the thickness of the threads. And that is done by changing the thread thickness here to, for example, 0.7. And then you see that it's popping much more. If we do an export to Blender now, the seams will look quite plain because we don't have any three-dimensional geometry for the seams. So we will do a little bit of a hack to create a separate displacement maps for the seams that we will add on top of the displacement map of the fabrics. And we can do that directly from the UV editor. So let's expand it a bit. So make sure that the color of your top stitching is set to white. And then go over to the fabrics. And now we will set the color to each fabric to black. So we start with the jacket, color, and complete black. Collar, jeans, tank top, and collar top. So click this button, Bake Textures, and then you find your saving path. You can set all tiles, and then export the diffuse map, and click Save. Now undo the color changes, and either you can press Ctrl-Z, or you can go to your history states that are to be found here. Now we can switch back to the 2D pattern editor. And it's time to decide what resolution we want for our mesh in the final simulation. The way to edit the resolution of your mesh is to select all your garments, then look in the property editor for particle distance. The easiest way is to set the particle distance to 5 and export, and it's ready to go in Blender. However, sometimes I set the particle distance to 12 and then I add a subdivision in Blender instead. And the benefit of doing this is that you have a very light mesh that can run almost in real time in your viewport in Blender when you want to check your animation. So this is my preferred choice, but we can try both of them and you can see the difference. I will start by showing you the subdivision way. So we set this one to 12, and now Marvelous will recalculate the mesh. Now we can deselect the garments and bring up the animation editor. And let's start the simulation, and this time we will use animation stable. And now you can simulate and record the animation by clicking this button. The simulation is done, and you can see that the simulation data is added here in the timeline. So let's do the export. We press File, Export, and then we choose Point Cache 2. And then you get some export settings here. So choose Weld, and then we will do a thin mesh export because a thick one doesn't work with the point cache animation. Click Unified UV Coordinates and choose which maps you want to include. And if you want to have some transparent materials, you may have to click this opacity map, but otherwise these are fine. Here you see your UV maps, and you should be able to have the default settings for scale and axis conversion. But if you get some problems with your export, you may have to play around with these settings. And then choose Entire Region to get the full animation. And then the default settings can be set here, and then click OK. So the export is done, and what we got from the export is an OBJ-file which contains the 3D data, and then a PC2 file that contains the animation cache, and then all the textures that we exported now. And in addition to that, we also exported our top stitch displacement textures. So now we're ready to import our clothes into the Blender file. So open the Blender project with the walking human, then import the OBJ-file, File, Import, OBJ. You should be able to have the default settings on the import. And now we have the clothes on the character. To add animation to your clothes, add a modifier, search for mesh cache, set the format to PC2, and then search for your file. Now let's try to play the animation. And if everything went well for you, the diffuse map and the normal map should automatically have been added when you imported your file. So you can add some lights to your scene and go to the rendered view. And then you see that the materials are kind of already looking good. The clothes we see now are the ones with the lower resolution from the Marvelous export. This means that the mesh can be a bit rough somewhere, for example in this area. So what we want to do is to add a subdivision modifier. So we go to the modifier stack and add subdivision. We can set the subdivision level to 2 both in the viewport and in the render. Let's have a look at the mesh again. So now the mesh is smooth, but right now the mesh looks almost too smooth. And what we want is a bit of detail and a bit of three-dimensional feeling. For example, the zipper here is completely flat, and we also want to see like the pockets and the places where we have the seams here. So let's fix that. We can add a solidify modifier, and then we can set the thickness to 0.15. and the offset can be 0. Okay, so let's have a look at the zipper again. And suddenly you see that now it has a thickness here. And we see a bit more these lines that we have created where we made the pleats. But now we created ourselves another problem, which are the details that have almost too strong shadows and are too enhanced. So to fix that, we can add a weighted normal. So add a new modifier and search for normal, and then select weighted normal. So the shadows and the strength of the details are more reasonable now. Currently, our modifiers impact all of our clothes because they are one big mesh. But if we don't want it to impact all of the clothes, we can create a vertex group. This allows us to make the modifiers only impact the part of the mesh that we define. In my case, I want the solidify modifier to impact everything except for the zipper details and the buttons. I don't want these parts to be thick like this. So what we can do is to go to the materials, and then we find all of the materials that belong to these parts, the buttons and the zipper details. And those are the materials that are not named. And then we go into edit mode, click on the first of the unnamed materials, and then click select. And then the second one, select, and repeat this. So now we have selected the parts of the mesh that we don't want the modifier to impact. And now we're gonna press Ctrl and I, and this inverts the selection. So now we have selected only the part of the mesh that we want the modifier to impact. So let's go to the Mesh Data tab, and then create a new vertex group, and then click Assign, and make sure that the weight is set to 1 here. So now this mesh is assigned to this vertex group, and we can tab out of edit mode. Now we go back to the modifiers, go to the Solidify modifier, and select our vertex group. And now you can see that the zipper and the zipper details are not thick anymore. They have their normal geometry, and even the buttons. So the benefit of exporting from Marvelous with a little bit lower resolution is that we can play the animation with quite good frame rate in Blender, but we can still achieve the same quality by adding the subdivision, the solidify, and the weighted normal modifiers. And when we want to play back the animation, we just turn off the modifiers in the viewport by clicking these buttons. And just for you to see the difference, I will tab over to Marvelous Designer and do a new export with a particle distance of 5 mm instead of 12. So now we will have a much higher resolution mesh. So here we have a comparison of the low resolution mesh with modifiers and the high resolution mesh without any modifiers. So I would say that the low resolution mesh with modifiers looks better than the high resolution mesh without modifiers. The mesh is a bit smoother on the low res one, whereas the details are a bit better out of the box on the high res one. And when comparing animation speed, the low res one can play in about 35 FPS in my computer, while the high res one plays about 17-18. So now you know that both of these methods work. Either you export a high res mesh from Marvelous, or you can export a low res mesh from Marvelous and then you do a little bit of a subdivision in Blender. The export we got from Marvelous Designer wasn't bad. We got the base color, we got the normal map, and we see basically what types of materials these clothes are supposed to have. However, the texture looks a bit flat, and the top stitching looks quite two-dimensional. So in the next video I'm gonna show you how to properly import the textures we exported from Marvelous, as well as how to make the top stitching more three-dimensional. We will take it from this look to this look. So as you see, we have a much more clear texture and more three-dimensional top stitching.
Like, subscribe, and share this tutorial with your friends. See you in the next video.